out of executive session and start recording.
Well, thank you so much.
There's a motion that we come out of executive.
All right, correspondence, everybody should have received the correspondence via email, and again, paper is here if you didn't.
I have a few copies of paper. If that's all right with everybody, I'm going to have to bring this up. Half a dozen or so copies, but it'll talk like everybody else.
I have nothing for the chair's report, so we'll move right on to the secretary's report.
Okay. Downsville Fire District Ambulance has sent us a 51336, pardon me, requesting approval for a NEMSIS upgrade to 3.4. And I'd like to make this in the form of a motion. Resolved that the application of the Downsville Fire District Ambulance to upgrade to NEMSIS 3.4 is approved. I'll accept the second on that.
I'll second.
Okay.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining? Abstaining?
Okay, I abstain, Joe. Okay.
Motion carries.
Okay, on October 2nd, we participated in the monthly Program Agency Directors Conference call. A few points raised. There was considerable discussion on the new CME manual, that's to put it mildly. Ryan Greenberg noted that some items would have to be revisited, that's to put it mildly also. Travis Howe of Mountain Lakes Region advised there were no suggestions yet on the updating of the deliverables reporting tool. A conference call was organized for the PA directors to give suggestions. I was part of that conference call, and one of the things, we're all generally very happy with the quarterly deliverables reporting tool that was crafted by Mike Taylor and some folks back in the day, a couple of years ago. We do find though, and Mike said this was going to happen, Mike is retired from the department now, but Mike said this was going to happen. We're going to find some items to update, and we found a lot of redundancies in the reporting tool. There are half a dozen points in each reporting tool for the program agency or the council where they ask, for example, for our meeting minutes. And we have to provide the meeting minutes. We have to provide a link to the meeting minutes a half a dozen times or so in each reporting tool. So we're working on that. The state is very agreeable to working with us on that to smooth out any problems. It's very user friendly. There was a call on ambulance transfusion services has been scheduled for October 4th by DOH with the Wadsworth Labs and interested agencies. And on the 3rd of October, I received an email saying that from Ryan Greenberg saying the call was canceled and everything was to be held in abeyance until further notice. And there were no notice of enforcement actions received by us this past month. And that, sir, is my report.
All right, treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report on September 23rd, we received a payment of $420 for our certified instructor update 129144 and $375 for CIU number 129145. They were both held on August 17th at SUNY Cobleskill. On October 2nd, we forwarded to DOH a voucher in the amount of $34,372.79 for the program agency contract for the period from July 1 to September 30th. On the same date, we also forwarded a voucher for $2241.58 for the council contract for the same period. All vouchers and supporting documentation was sent electronically. We also submitted the deliverables reporting tools as requested and required. And a printed report of the cash flow and balance sheet was distributed to all the members. Mr. Pasquarelli, Mr. Jones, Mr. Chase, and Mr. Farquhar first received detailed cash flow, balance sheets, and register reports, plus copies of canceled checks as per the review arrangements agreed on to meet our audit standards. And they reported?
Everything was found to be complete and accurate.
All right, we have a motion to accept treasurer's report. Pat, second.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, who's second?
Joe.
Joe, okay.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I will abstain as a staff member.
All right. Committee reports. Regional program update. Kind of did.
Nothing report, I kind of did that.
Training.
Training committee, the certified instructor updates were conducted at SUNY Cobleskill on August 17th with 25 attendees in the morning session, 28 in the afternoon. Teaching day is set for Saturday, November 2nd at the Holiday Inn here in Johnstown. And Joyce and Steve Anderson of Air Methods worked very closely in development of the program, and Langton of New York is supplying the speakers for the occasion. As everybody is aware, I sent out the flyers to everybody more than once, and a copy of the day's schedule. Registration will be at 08:30 that day for, I should say, sign-in should be, because you have to register before then. The morning session will be from 0900 to 1200, afternoon session from 1300 to 1600. Luncheon is provided as part of the package. On September 26th and again on October 9th, the flyer was sent to all members and agencies for which we have an accurate email address. As of October 16th, yesterday, a total of 33 persons have registered for the event. The flyer is also available on our regional website. The statewide BLS Protocols training tool was rolled out to the program directors and revealed some software problems. On September 13th, Mr. McMillan sent us information on accessing the Vital Signs Academy, and hopefully the updating is continuing apace. Information was sent out on this to all of our members on September 14th, before our last meeting, actually. Deadline for all personnel statewide to complete the BLS Protocols training update is set by the Department of Health as December 31st of this year. Training and the collaborative ALS protocol updates will be available through a program developed by Dr. Daly at AMC, and we do not yet have access to that program. And AAREMS provided their portion of the requested financial assistance to update the collaborative protocol apps, both in Android and iPhone format. The new DOH CME program manual was received by us on September 30th and distributed that same day to all council and format members. As per DOH, it was due to be made available on the DOH website soon thereafter. I do not detect that it is yet available on the DOH. Is it? Whereabouts?
Right under the certifications page.
On certification, okay, I stand corrected, I did not find it there.
Is there any associated forms yet?
They're not.
On September 26th, copies of Ryan Greenberg's letter on the new program was sent to all members and agencies for which we have an accurate email address. We have a letter from Gene Taylor regarding the SUNY Cobalt-Skill application to become a specialty course sponsor in this region. They wish to become a specialty course sponsor for CLI, CIC, and certified instructor updates. And Gene has asked whether or not we find this will be a problem to our training schedule or any interruption to our training schedule. And we had already discussed this at some length some months ago with Howard, but I opened it up to the floor for discussion. We already had agreed with Howard that, or agreed in Howard's presence that this would not be an interruption or an interference in our course sponsorship. But I'll ask the members for any comments they have now, because we have to reply to Gene Taylor's request.
So we're agreeing that,
We have currently already voted and agreed that this, and worked it out with Howard, that it would not be an interruption to our training schedule, that Howard would work with the regional council in regards to these classes and scheduling, so that nobody was hurt. So, is everybody still in favor of that?
How has it worked out?
They have not. So Howard's application, when we decided that the state had put that application on the back burner, it is now just coming to light at their office.
Okay.
I think we can just reply from the council, and do you want it in a motion?
We
already
have a motion,
Yeah, we
unless
previously
somebody
agreed
wanted
on it, and,
to rescind it.
yeah, no, I think we're fine. I think we beat that horse.
Okay. I'll send the requisite form to Gene Taylor tomorrow. Then I'll send it to her electronically, like everything else is being handled these days. Okay.
Is that it for training?
That's for training.
Policy committee, anything?
nothing.
Okay.
Transportation standards.
Okay. On August 30th, we received another application requesting approval of a transfer operating authority from JVAC to Troy Ambulance, doing business as Empire Ambulance. This application was sent to us by the Hannigan Law Firm, and this is despite the fact that AAREMS having already voted that the JVAC operating certificate was non-transferable. We voted on this on May 16th. On October 1st, we received notice from the National Warfare that Article 78 petition had been filed requiring us to reconsider our May 16, 2019 decision. This petition is returnable in the State Supreme Court offices in Fulton County at 10 a.m. on October 30th. And Karen Taddeo will be representing us at this time, at that time.
To further comment on this, since then we've received a second application in lieu of this at the end of August, in which the Transportation Standards Committee has not reviewed. For the simple fact is we had advice from DOH to halt the process. So I guess we can do it in one motion or two motions, but my suggestion would be to table the second JVAC TOA application until the committee can at least have the opportunities to review it for completeness before we take a vote on it. That would be one motion. The second would be, we really can't act at this point on, we are acting, or are in the process of acting on the original application in which the Article 78 was filed for. So I guess we don't really need a motion for that as much as we would need it for just to table the second application that we received.
Tell me.
But if I may interrupt, one thing you left out, I don't know if everyone knows it. Yesterday, Phil received a letter from DOH rescinding that hold that they put on the applications.
Correct.
Because Mr. Pasquarelli said that there was a directive to hold them. Yesterday, Phil got an email saying that had been lifted, which is why it comes up today.
So
Right.
you're saying the Transportation and Standards
We
Committee
have not
has
had a
not
chance-
had a chance to look at the second
At the
JVAC
second JVAC application
Simply because we were told not to by the Department of Health.
until yesterday. So I would ask for a motion to table that application for review of the committee. And
Can we just make the motion to go through the due process with the new application to be sent to the Transportation Committee for review?
yes,
Instead of calling a table.
sure.
If that's okay.
Would you like to make that motion?
So moved.
I will second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Sid?
Sid.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay.
Second.
Now, in the matter of the application from the ambulance service of Fulton County for transfer of operating authority to Troy Ambulance doing business as Empire, if you recall, back in June, the members determined there was a missing signature page, was from that application rendering it incomplete. The missing signature page has since been forwarded to all AAREMS members. On October 16th, we received a letter from Mr. Clayton advising that the DOH was rescinding their previous stoppage on pending TOA issues and telling us to proceed as per the usual procedures. The next usual procedure in the case of the TOA application from Ambulance Service of Fulton County would be to declare it complete and request that the state conduct a fitness and competency review, and also to advise the state that we are also examining other issues of non-transferability of this TOA application for reasons of non-operation. So, am I correct in what I'm saying so far?
Yeah, essentially what Phil was saying is that the application is deemed complete because that missing page, everyone should have it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was
Now,
some months ago.
so it's complete. You're gonna have to bring that application back up. I know a lot of you haven't looked at it for a number of months because you were told you couldn't, it was on hold.
I'll resend it to them then.
Yeah, and so you're gonna have to look at it. They're gonna send a letter to DOH saying the application's complete, and DOH can begin the fitness and competency, but AAREMS is reserving its right to make a determination as to transferability. So it's not to waste time. DOH can be working on fitness and competency, but you have to look at the applications, you have to get your data together and find out whether or not, maybe at next meeting, whether or not the council members will deem this deem this certificate transferable or not under 3010-4. So it's a contingent request for fitness and competency.
So again, like, just to reiterate, we did, in fact, prior to the department's advice, deem the application incomplete pending paperwork, which we have received.
Right.
The transportation and standards committee, and everybody has received it. So at this point, I'm looking for a motion to deem that application complete.
So moved.
Who makes that motion? Sid?
Do we have a second? Pat, any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? Carried.
Now, on August 13th, we received an unredacted copy by email of the transfer of operating authority paperwork from Margaretville Hospital. This proposed TOA wishes to show Health Alliance Incorporated as the active parent of Margaretville Memorial Hospital and therefore the Margaretville Memorial Hospital Ambulance Squad, and Westchester County Healthcare Corporation as the active grandparent of the Margaretville Memorial Hospital and therefore the Margaretville Memorial Hospital Ambulance Squad. The application in redacted form had been sent to all AAREMS members and is found to be complete by the committee. A motion was made by Mr. Malidi and already made and seconded in our September meeting that the state was requested to respectfully conduct an appropriate fitness and competency action and report their findings to this council. On October 15th, we received an affirmative fitness and competency review on this issue from Mr. Jonas, and the application is now ready for vote. I would like to make the following motion. Resolved, that the transfer of operating authority application for the Margaretville Memorial Hospital is approved. For the Margaretville Memorial Hospital ambulance is approved. This application seeks approval for TOA to include both Westchester County Healthcare Corporation as grandparent of Margaretville Memorial Hospital and Health Alliance Incorporated as parent of Margaretville Memorial Hospital. There is no change to the primary operating territory of the ambulance agency involved.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any discussion? If not, this is a roll call vote.
This would be a roll call vote. So I'd like to present the motion. As per statute, we're conducting a roll call vote on the following resolution. Resolved, that the transfer of operating authority, TOA, for the Margaretville Memorial Hospital ambulance is approved. This application seeks approval for TOA to include both Westchester County Healthcare Corporation as the grandparent of Margaretville Memorial Hospital and Health Alliance Incorporated as parent of Margaretville Memorial Hospital. There is no change to the primary operating territory of the EMS agency involved. Delaware County, you may vote yes, no, or abstain. Joseph Cazzola.
Yes.
Joseph Cazzola votes yes. Ryan Hanel.
Yes.
Ryan Hanel votes yes. Patrice Delameter.
I will abstain.
Margaret Wilson.
Yes.
Margaret Wilson votes yes. Mr. Simmons does not have a vote since he's an alternate and all constituents are represented from the county. Fulton County, Country Sweep.
Yes.
Country Sweep votes yes. John Farquhar.
Yes.
Mike Tracy is absent. Mark Souza.
Yes.
Mark Souza votes yes. Hamilton County. Mrs. Malidi is absent. Philip Malidi votes yes. Kenneth Kirk.
Yes.
Kenneth Kirk votes yes. Avis Warner.
Yes.
Gary Wicks is absent. Montgomery County, Thomas Pascarelli.
Yes.
Pascarelli votes yes. Michael Schwartz.
Yes.
Patricia Sanders.
Yes.
Bill West is absent. Otsego County, Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Chase votes yes. Elizabeth McGowan.
Yes.
Yes. Nick Brent is alternate. Mr. Brent here. I'm sorry. He left, I say. All right, I'll count as absent. Tim Foster.
Yes.
Kirschman is absent. Schoharie County, Mr. Brand.
Yes.
Brand votes yes. Mr. Hillenbrand is excused. Dr. Lewis is excused. Benjamin Love.
Yes.
Dr. Markowitz.
Yes.
Yes. The results are as follows. In favor of the resolution? 18. Opposed? None. Abstention? 1. The resolution is adopted. And the State Department of Health will be so adopted.
I think that is it for transportation standards? Is that-
Let us see. Yes, sir, that is it for transportation standards, sir.
State Council report, you will receive an electronic copy of this. It was emailed to AAREMS this morning, so Phil did not see it yet. But when he gets to his office, he will, along with some of the handouts. But I will briefly go over some of the things and try to keep it under an hour report for you guys.
A lot is happening.
The Bureau finally has received some extra help. They've hired 8 positions up to this point throughout the Bureau, as well as received, have 7 new interns to assist. So with that, you know, there's people that have specific roles, whether it's data entry, education, whatever, and there's certainly some movement within the Bureau and some learning curves that these folks have to adapt to. Dan Clayton has assumed a new role. He's now the Chief of Operations. And they were reporting, and this will be in education, so I'll skip that one. Medical standards, they discussed a couple of protocol issues, and the same thing with CMAC, there was some protocol things. New York City does not like the New York State BLS protocols and feels that they should have their own. So that is going to be a great topic to continue on. There has also been some language changes in the protocols, mainly, or will be language changes for those agencies that are participating in the ET3 pilot program for Medicare, so that we can transport to alternative facilities, you know, and then those protocol changes would also apply to non-participating agencies. There was some talk about behavioral health protocol, eliminating the words mild to moderate depression. Also to the collaborative protocols, Tylenol, they want to put a restriction for Tylenol for patients that are over 60 days old. Ibuprofen should be
Under 60
or under
days.
60 days, I'm sorry. Yep. Under 60 days. Ibuprofen for patients over 6 months with a contraindication of pregnancy. And then heat emergencies, they would like to change to allow for cooling instead of just the rapid transport. Education and training. Like Phil said, there's a huge online push for training as well as testing and everything else. So they have the Vital Signs Academy up and running for the BLS protocol update. There will be more training available with that as time goes on as well. Computer-based testing. Computer-based testing for CIC, for the CIC and CLI, is supposed to start happening this month. If all goes according to plan, I don't know that that is going to happen, but I guess time will tell. And then starting next month, they're looking at online testing and computer-based testing for your certifications.
Being offered. It isn't required.
It isn't required. You will still be allowed to take a paper test if you so choose, but the option will be given to you via email from Department of Health or from the Bureau that you can sign up for computer-based testing. There will be 29 test sites throughout the state. We don't know if they're going to be open 6 days a week or 7 days a week, but basically you're going to sign up for a time slot and you go take your EMT, paramedic, or whatever test, no different than an RN would go sign up and take their boards.
And you can find all those tests if you look at the PSI exams online. Albany, Utica, Johnson City, Binghamton seem to be the nearest locations. Obviously, all the big cities.
The cost looks to be $28, which on-site scoring was $25. Here's the real benefit to this, is if you take computer-based testing, you get your result and you print your certificate and you are allowed to practice immediately. So we all know that we went back and forth with that, and over the years there was, like Karen says, the Bureau, depending on who you talk to, depending on what the answer was. But there is no question, if you take computer-based testing and you pass, you will get a certificate in which you can practice. They're getting ready to roll out the new CME program. The manual is online if you want to look at it. With that, there's some regulation changes or regulatory changes that are happening. They will be included in the email that goes out to you because there are several of them. One of the coolest things on it is instead of a 3-year recertification period for us, they're looking to change that to a 4-year recertification program. So those of us who hold dual certifications, National Registry and state, we will line up. So you don't have to, every third cycle, have to take 2 recertification or 2 classes in order to make that happen. Changes to the AEMT protocols as well as to the curriculum. New York State is transferring over to the national standards, the national training standards. That will happen in September 2020. With that being said, there's a few things that are coming out of the protocols for AEMTs. Number 1 is oral and nasotracheal intubation, end-tidal CO2 monitoring, venous blood sampling, and direct laryngoscopy for obstructed airway. However, at some point, the 2 things that are going back in to the AEMT curriculum will be end-tidal CO2 monitoring and then venous blood sampling.
They're right in the middle of reworking it nationally.
Correct. For those paramedic facilities, paramedic teaching facilities, the National Registry, PSE standards, are going to start being used. There will actually be somebody from the National Registry on site to oversee that PSE exam. However, the training sites and centers are still going to be required to provide the appropriate staff to conduct all of that.
There was even some discussion about removing the BLS portion of the New York State exam and going just with the National Registry, straight National Registry. So they're exploring that as well. It's not fact accomplished that they might remove it, but they're going to look at that because every person has to keep an underlining BLS card while they're going through paramedic school.
I won't bore you with the Finance and Safety Committee and all of that stuff. They'll be in the report that you get via email. So anything you want to add, Beth? Over there.
No, it just seems like a lot's happening, you know, and that he only mentioned a portion of the regulatory changes. There will be the regulatory changes to change to the certification to 4-year and a bunch of others that will be published in the New York State Register for comment. So if you're somebody who likes to look at that stuff, get online and look at it, make comment, good, bad, indifferent, so that when they pull it all back and look at it, they have some things to look at and hopefully move that forward to changing the Part 800 regulations.
REMAC, anything, Doc? REMAC? All right. County reports. Delaware.
She has a scooch.
Dave, you got anything?
No, other we have EMT class going on in Walton, a CFR class in Hancock, and that's about it for the fall.
All right. Harry.
Status quo.
Otsego?
Otsego has 3 basic classes going with good attendance in each of those. I'm happy to report.
Montgomery.
We don't have anything.
Fulton?
Nothing new.
And Hamilton?
Nothing new.
Nothing new.
Tom,
Yes.
I would like to, just in terms of SUNY Cobleskill, we are getting ready next week and we still are taking applications for an EMT Academy. We are taking people who have no EMS certification, working with AMR, offering a 10-week EMT class at which daytimes, Monday through Friday, and at the end they would come out as EMTs and have full-time employment with AMR. So if you know anybody that's interested, hook them up with me or go to amr.net. There's a job requisition open for that. Classes would be at SUNY Cobleskill Monday through Friday, starting the 28th of October, testing December 19th.
Perfect. Any old business that anyone can think of? None? Any new business? Anybody have any new business?
Just to let you guys know, Phil did send out, it's the AAREMS summary from the last meeting. He never sends out an agenda, so you're not going to get a copy of an agenda, so don't look for one, but you will get an electronic copy of the summary from this meeting, will be your next email.
The full minutes.
Instead of printing them out and having them available.
Yeah, the correspondence you meant, correspondence report.
And this, yes.
Yeah, and the
But
full
there's
minutes-
never an agenda. I know a couple of people are looking for an agenda. There's only a REMAC agenda. There's no AAREMS agenda.
Right. Good point.
Any other new business? None being said, I'll take motion to adjourn. Motion.
Adjourned at 14:19. We next meet on the 21st of November, right here with the REMAC at 11:15. Thank you all.